everyone, it's Ellen, and as you can tell by the title and formatting of this video, this is not going to be a song tutorial today. Instead, I just wanted to do something a little different, so hopefully you guys don't mind. Today is Saturday. It's a very dreary day outside, so I normally would be outside doing something today, but not today because it's really muddy and gross. So I decided to take today as a YouTube day where I would focus on editing some videos and things like that. And so what I just finished editing is actually something really special that I think you guys will like. There's a special guest in the video, and I'm sure that you'll know what it is after you see it because I am definitely wearing the same thing in those videos. But anyways, so as I was waiting for that to edit or to export, because sometimes this video is pretty long, so it's taking a long time to export. Normally what I would be doing is picking up my guitar and practicing or just playing something for fun, but it is getting close to Christmas right now, so a few days ago I actually moved a lot of stuff that I have over on this side of the room so that I can make room for my Christmas tree. And one of the things that I moved was actually my violin. So for those of you who don't know, I actually started playing violin when I was 3 years old. My parents started me on it very early, and it is the instrument that I played that got me into music and the love of music in the first place. Anyways, so when I was younger, I would practice my violin every day, and when I was in middle school or in high school, orchestra was my life. I practiced every day, and everything I did revolved around orchestra pretty much. But pretty much since I graduated high school, I haven't picked up my violin at all. I haven't been in any orchestras. I haven't practiced. I haven't learned new songs or anything. So my violin progress pretty much stopped after high school. But there were a few times I was looking in my YouTube catalog of when I would bust out my violin to play part of a cover song, but I was looking through my YouTube videos and I realized the last time I did that was actually 6 years ago, and so you can't even count that as practicing because I wasn't even practicing, it was just learning a part for a cover, So really, you could really say that the last time I really busted out my violin and practiced it would have been my senior year of high school, which was definitely over 10 years ago. So I just aged myself, but I thought that it would be fun to kind of bring you guys along on this journey because today I decided I want to play my violin, see if I can still remember things, see if I can still play things, see if it's still even in working condition, and I thought that it might be fun if you guys came along with me. So here we go. So this is my violin, and I've had this violin probably since late middle school, 8th grade or so. So I've had it for quite a while. Like I said, I haven't opened it in 6 years. I've actually moved a lot between now and then. I've moved to maybe 2 or 3 different apartments. And every time I moved, I brought my violin with me, but I don't think I ever busted it open, I would just bring it with me and put it in the corner in case I ever wanted to play it, but I never really did. So hopefully everything looks okay. So I mean, it looks in pretty good condition. This case is pretty hefty, so it's not going to be ruined by anything. Here's my shoulder pad in case none of you have ever seen that. I don't know how many of you are familiar with music or violin, but that's just to help it rest on my shoulders and be a little more comfortable. It's actually pretty in tune considering, so that's really impressive. Here's my bow. It's a graphite bow, which is supposed to be a little bit lighter, so it's supposed to help you be able to play faster. And this is horsehair. The bow actually doesn't look too good. I should probably restring it at some point. But it'll do for the purpose of this video. And over here in this side pouch is where I have all of my violin accessories. But I'm thinking that, yeah, this rosin is not good. Like I said, last time I used these was 10 years ago. This rosin is really gross. So I don't think I'll be able to use any rosin. Hopefully my bow has enough on it that it'll be okay to play with. Yeah. I just got dust all over my pants from the guitar or from the violin case, so that You can tell how long it's been since I've picked that up. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's in tune. Okay, not bad. So honestly, I'm not even sure what brand this violin is, but it stayed in tune in 6 years, like by itself. So that's pretty amazing. So what I thought I would do is I would go through some of my old violin books that I learned on and see if I could still read the music, first of all, and then play some of the songs. So let me see if I can do that. Okay, so when I was growing up with violin, I think my first couple of lessons when I started, like I said, when I was 3, which you guys might be thinking, wow, that's a really young age to start, but I didn't actually play on a real violin until maybe like 4 or 5 years old. The first violin instructor I ever had, I remember he fashioned me like a play violin out of a tissue box and like some sort of stick or something, and the reason he did that was just to teach me the basics, like how to stand properly, how to hold the violin properly, things like that. So I think at that age I was a little too young to like really learn any sort of music, so it was more just basics and stuff. So really I've been playing a real violin since maybe I was like 5 years old, and I do remember that the thing that got me through how much I practiced and stuff was this thing. It was called Suzuki. So Suzuki is a type of, I guess it's like a book series for violinists, and these books are pretty helpful because at the beginning they teach you what you're going to be learning in that book. So like when you open it to the first few pages, it has like the table of contents, and then it just kind of goes into a little bit about, I guess it's more like music theory. It'll teach you about rhythms or different types of accents, things like that you can do in your music. This one is talking about shifting into 4th position, stuff like that. So it just tells you a little bit about what it is that you'll be encountering in the songs in this book, and then it goes and gives you a few songs to learn. So I think when I was in high school, which was the peak of my violin playing, like that's when I was probably the best. I think I was at about Suzuki book 8 or 9. I have book 8 with me. I can't find 9, so I might have just been at book 8. But now looking back at it, this looks a little bit intimidating. Like, I don't know if I would be able to do any of this kind of music just fresh after 10 years of not playing. So I think what I might do is go back to one of the first books and start from the basics and see if I can even still remember how to read music after all these years. So I'm going to start in book 3. Book 3 was probably when I would say elementary school is probably when I was in book 3. So I'm going to see if I can still play any of these songs. So I actually found a song in here that I remember doing for one of the concerts. Like my violin teacher would have little concerts every semester, and I think I remember playing this at one of them. This is Beret by Johann Sebastian Bach. It's in Suzuki book 3, and I wonder if I can still play it. So I'm just going to try to see if I can still remember violin. So initial thoughts is that I think music is a lot like riding a bike, where even if you don't do it for an extended period of time, a lot of it kind of just like comes back to you, because I did notice that I was remembering a lot of stuff. The more I played it, the more I was just like, oh yeah, I remember how to do that or how to do this. However, I will say that my music reading ability has suffered significantly in the past 10 years of not reading music, because although I remember what all of these things mean, like pianissimo and forte and all that stuff, or like crescendos and accents, flats, naturals, and I remember all of this stuff because I learned it so long ago. But when you're in the moment, like playing it, it was really hard for me to remember it in the moment. So that's probably why it didn't sound so great. Please don't judge my violin based on this video or this song. Again, I haven't played this in over 10 years. I'm actually really surprised that I remember as much as I did. Again, though, this is one of the easy songs. I definitely played this when I was in probably late elementary, early middle school, and I probably played it a lot better than I just did just now. So yeah. So a little bit more story about my violin journey and stuff is that as I was growing up, I was never really that popular. I didn't know how to really make friends because I was always kind of shy and socially awkward. And I was never like the smartest person. I wasn't good at math. I wasn't good at school in general. So really the one place that I found peace with myself and happiness with who I was orchestra, because music for me was one of the only things I felt like I was ever good at my whole life. And so I put a lot of time and effort into practicing my violin as a younger child, because that's just where I found passion, that's where I found happiness. And I think because of that, it did actually pay off in the end, because when I went to middle school and I joined an actual orchestra for the first time, I did climb my way to the concert master, which, if you don't know what that is, that's the first chair of the first violin part. They're kind of behind the actual conductor. They kind of lead the orchestra, so they're pretty, vital in an orchestra. And I was able to climb my way into that position in middle school, and then when I got to high school, I climbed my way back up into that position in high school. And so, being concertmaster for me was one of the biggest joys that I had at the time. And I know that sounds really nerdy, but I was really proud of myself for being able to be first chair, the majority of my high school career, and have, solos and stuff whenever we would go out and play at Carnegie Hall in New York and things like that. And so anyways, my story is I found this song. It's called Concerto for Two Violins in D minor. Again, it's by Johann Sebastian Bach. Some people might know this as the Double Violin Concerto. I remember this very, very specifically because in middle school, when I was in 8th grade, me and my friend who was a cellist, we tried to convince our orchestra director to have the whole orchestra play this song. And I remember we practiced it, but we never played it because, it was just a little bit too hard for everyone at that level. However, my friend and we would continue to play this song together because we just thought it was a lot of fun. So I found it in here, and I wanted to see if I could still do it, because there was definitely a point in my past when I had this song completely memorized. So we'll see if any of that comes flooding back when I play it. But I'm going to go ahead and play the first page of the Double Violin Concerto, the first violin part, and hopefully I can still play it. initial thoughts again is this song's a little bit harder than the previous one I played, and there's a lot more shifting, so that's when you go from the bottom here of the violin and you shift into different positions up higher on the neck. And violin, by the way, is kind of like guitar in the fact that it's a string instrument, but it's actually a little bit harder, I would say, because as you can see on the violin, there aren't any frets, so the reason that's a little bit more difficult is because on guitar, if you want to play a certain note, you just have to make sure that you put your finger between two frets, and as long as you do that, you'll get that note. But with violin, it's a little bit different because it's very finicky in the way that you play, and if I have my finger just a little bit, like, you know, a millimeter or two off from where it needs to go, that note will be sharp or flat or, you know, not sound so great. So violin is very precise. You have to know exactly where you want those fingers to go. So it is a little bit harder, I would say, than guitar. Luckily for me, I learned this one first and then guitar, so that way guitar seemed a little bit more easier for me to pick up personally. But yeah, anyways, I think that this was really interesting to play this song because, like I said, I had it memorized as a child, so I realized as I started playing it, it kind of came back almost naturally, just like second nature to my fingers. I think this song, even though it's harder and in a harder book, this actually sounded better than the first one I played for you a few minutes ago, and I think it's probably because I practiced this one a lot harder when I was younger, and that must have just stuck with me after all these years. So the other thing I wanted to do with this song is that I wanted to see if I could find a second violin part on the internet and see if I can play the first violin part with it so you guys can kind of hear what that sounds like, share a little bit of, you know, what brings me happiness. I really like this song and I really enjoy playing it, so hopefully I can find someone to play the second violin part with. Okay, so I was able to find someone to play the second violin part of this song. However, she's really, really good. She's playing it really, really fast with the, you know, orchestral version in the back, so the tempo is at tempo, so I don't know if I'll be able to keep up, but I thought it would be fun to play through the first page again, but with the second violin and the orchestra in the back and all of that, just so you guys can kind of hear what I used to love so much as a child. Just, you know, orchestra and everyone playing together. I love being part of an ensemble. I love being part of something bigger as far as music goes. So anyways, I thought that I would go ahead and try to play this. Hopefully it doesn't sound too terrible. But we'll see what happens, and hopefully I can keep up with this girl. And I'll link the video that I'm using in the description box in case any of you guys are interested or anything. Okay. I'm going to stop right there because I'm not going to get this. Okay, so again, my thoughts on this is something did come back to me as I was playing this, and I think it's because when I was younger and in orchestra, a lot of people, like, you know, instructors and teachers and other people just in the orchestra would tell me that I had a tell. Whenever I would mess up, I would make a face. And with orchestra, like, when I'm playing, generally speaking, I have a very serious face. Not because I, you know, don't like it or anything. It's just because I guess I'm concentrating, so I have like my concentrating face on. But I did remember a lot of people telling me when I was younger that I would make a face every time I made a mistake, every time I messed up. And so I think I just did that just now too because I felt it, and I remembered people telling me not to do that, and I tried to like not do it. So that just all came screaming back when I was playing this. But yeah, I think that was fun. Hopefully you guys got a little idea of, what it was like for me to be in orchestra and how much joy I really got from it. And like honestly guys, if you guys find any sort of joy in music, any sort of joy in learning guitar or anything like that, so it's so worth it to stick with it, even through times that are frustrating where you feel like you'll never be able to get, a new concept or a new technique or something. You just got to keep practicing it, keep at it, because once you finally get it, there's no feeling in the world better than when you get something and you can play it and then you play it over and over again and you're just so proud of yourself. And playing this song really reminded me of that, and yeah, it was good. Okay, so I'm going to end this video pretty soon, but I thought since I showed you guys a song that I played in elementary school and then one that I played in middle school, I would find one that I played in high school. And so now I am in Suzuki Book 6. My freshman year of high school, I remember for solo and ensemble, I played this song, which I absolutely loved. It's called La Folia, and it's by Corelli. And I just remember this song was so beautiful, and I just really loved playing it. And I remember one part of it that goes pretty fast. I had to practice it so much as a kid because I just could not get it at tempo. And so I think what actually ended up happening was when I performed it, I asked the pianist to go a little bit slower so that I could play it a little bit slower than it's meant to be played, just because I could never get it that fast. But I wanted to see if I could still play it, because just from the sheer number of times I had to practice this song as a kid, I wonder if I can still play it right now. So I'm going to play the part where it goes pretty fast and see, how fast I can do it. I thought that would be a fun little experiment. So this is the second page. It's called the Poco Meno Mosso part. So I'm going to see how fast I can do this. Yeah, so imagine me playing that over and over and over again as a kid, going from slow until I got faster and faster and faster on the metronome. That's actually something that I've told you guys to do before, is to practice with the metronome in case you ever need to go fast. You definitely want to practice it slow first, make sure you get it slow, and then go faster. Of course, me right now, I just jumped into it after 10 years of not playing, so there was a lot of missed notes, a lot of out of tune notes, and yeah, things that I would work on. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I just thought it would be fun to kind of play around with something that I hadn't touched for so long. If you guys are interested in my violin journey, or if you have any, maybe a fun thing to do would be for me to continue practicing on my own and then do like an update video or something where I actually sound okay or decent on it. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that at all, just let me know in the comments below. If you weren't interested in this video at all, I'm sorry, but I do have some more guitar videos coming your way soon. I just thought I would branch out a little bit and do something a little bit different on my channel, but something that is still very close to my heart and something I still really enjoy. So I guess that's it for this little bonus Saturday boredom video, and definitely keep your eye out for a special video I have coming soon. I think you guys are going to really, really love the special guest that I have in it. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.